And I kind of feel sorry for Canelo because he's in a no-win situation. If he beats Terence Crawford, people are going to say, well, you were just too big. Right, you were just too big. Right? And if he loses to Terence Crawford, it's like, yeah, well, you're an old man and you should retire anyway. You're just greedy. You went for the money. So he's in a no-win situation.
Terence Crawford coming up in weight, multi-weight champion, undisputed at different weights, still not a casual household name, but maybe this is the opportunity. Interesting, on Netflix, a massive fight, and it's one that's going to have people split about who's going to win.
As the boxing world braces for the epic clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, boxing legends, trainers, and pundits reveal bold predictions and fiery opinions. Amir Khan called it a tough fight to predict. Khan reflected on his own experiences in the ring with both men, noting that Canelo's size and ability to pack on weight effectively gave him a clear advantage when they fought. Khan emphasized how Canelo felt heavier and physically stronger. However, Khan also pointed out that when he shared the ring with Crawford, the size difference wasn't as noticeable, as Crawford matched up well physically. Still, Khan acknowledged that Crawford doesn't carry the same punching power as Canelo.
You know, it's a hard fight to call, Canelo Crawford, because, you know, Crawford is a big guy as well. I mean, I normally would say Canelo because he's a bigger guy, but and normally he's bigger than his opponents and he puts on the weight well, and when I fought him, he was much heavier and bigger than me. But then again, when I fought against Crawford, Crawford was as big as Canelo, but I just don't feel that Crawford hits as hard as Canelo. Canelo hits very hard. I mean, his power is, you know what I mean, his power is like unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you watch the fight and you see,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Whereas with Crawford's got power, don't get me wrong, Crawford's got amazing power, but the thing is that it's not that knockout power that Canelo has. Now, you have to understand, I fought Canelo 10 years ago.
All things considered, while he sees the contest as evenly balanced and acknowledges Terence as his friend who has helped him in his training camps, Khan gives a slight edge to Canelo.
But still, the age is very similar. Both guys are getting on towards the end of their career. I think it's evenly matched, but I do lean more towards Canelo in this one, even though Crawford's a very close friend of mine and helped me in my training camp for my last fight. But it's a hard fight to call because both fighters are at the top of the game. I think it's something that boxing's not seen for a very long time, where you've got two fighters. It's hard to say who's going to win. It is a 50-50 fight. Is it skill or power that's going to win, or is it skill or speed that's going to win the fight? We don't know, so let's see.
Building on this perspective, boxing porter and media personality Spencer Farron offered a measured assessment of the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown, leaning toward Crawford, though not with overwhelming conviction. Farron highlighted that historically Mexican fighters have struggled against opponents with speed, a factor that could work in Crawford's favor. While he noted that Crawford possesses quickness, he stopped short of labeling him a pure speedster.
Now, I'm going Terence Crawford, but I'm not going Terence Crawford hard. Right?
Yeah.
Historically speaking, Mexican fighters in a whole do not handle speed very well. The thing is that Terence Crawford is fast, but he's not a speedy fighter. You know, he doesn't like.
No, I'm being calm. Like,
forget. Look, you see? Now, there you go again. What was Amir Khan doing, Matt?
I'm telling you.
Canelo until he got knocked out. And people are going to say, but, you know, in a marathon, you could win the first 800 meters, not mean anything. No, in this it does.
Emphasizing Crawford's exceptional talent, Farron urged fans not to draw conclusions from the Madrimov fight, insisting that Crawford is stepping into the ring with everything on the line in pursuit of the biggest victory of his career.
But you have to look at it as this. Terence Crawford is amazingly talented, right? And we're looking, don't go by the Madrimov fight, right? To think we're going to be judging Terence Crawford over that. I'm going to be real with you. Terence Crawford has come for the biggest win in his career. He's moving up in weight now. And at the time, he's going in with an undefeated fighter who actually doesn't believe that they can lose. That's what happens when you're undefeated. You don't think you can lose, right? And yeah, it was a little bit of a lackluster performance, but does that mean that we're taking away from Terence Crawford? No, Terence Crawford is amazingly strong. No, I don't. I think that Terence Crawford, and it's not a payday for him as well. He's going to get paid fantastically well, but it's not a payday. He is actually chasing greatness, and he's saying like, this is the fight that I want. Reason why, because they see flaws inside of Canelo. And we're not talking about the Canelo of 10 years ago.
No.
Right, we're talking about Canelo now.
However, Spencer pointed out the tricky position Canelo Alvarez finds himself in. According to Farron, if Canelo comes out on top, critics are likely to downplay the victory, claiming he was simply too big for Terence Crawford. On the flip side, if Canelo falls short, there will be voices accusing him of chasing paydays rather than legacy.
And I kind of feel sorry for Canelo because he's in a no-win situation. If he beats Terence Crawford, people are going to say, well, you were just too big. Right, you were just too big, right? And if he loses to Terence Crawford, it's like, yeah, well, you're an old man and you should retire anyway. You're just greedy. You went for the money. So he's in a no-win situation.
Ultimately, after weighing it all up, Farron sees Crawford edging out a hard-fought but clear points win, delivering a performance that could silence the doubters.
I see Terence Crawford winning a hard but comprehensive points winner in this fight.
Echoing the magnitude of the occasion, boxing commentator Adam Smith described the clash as a massive event packed with intrigue and all the elements that make for a historic showdown. With two future Hall of Famers sharing the spotlight, Smith highlighted Canelo's remarkable longevity, noting how the Mexican star has remained at the sports summit for years. At the same time, he emphasized that this is a golden opportunity for Crawford, a moment that could elevate him to true household name status on the global stage.
It's a huge fight. It's a massive fight. It's a fight that it's got everything. Intrigue. Two of them are wonderful Hall of Famers in the future. Canelo, I've remembered since he was 15 years of age coming through. He's been around forever and he's still at the very top. Terence Crawford coming up in weight, multi-weight champion, undisputed at different weights, still not a casual household name, but maybe this is the opportunity. Interesting, on Netflix, a massive, massive fight, and it's one that's going to have people split about who's going to win. First of all, I agree with Simon about Terence Crawford's chances in this fight. I like them. I think it's a really fascinating matchup because of the weight difference, but I think Crawford could be in the right place at the right time. We wait and see on that. As far as the undercard, I love the fact that he's appealed for people to step up. Come on, if you think you're good enough to be on this card.
Furthermore, boxing legend Manny Pacquiao weighed in on Terence Crawford's bold move to jump 3 weight classes for his showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Pacquiao pointed out that such a significant rise in weight could come at the cost of Crawford's trademark speed. With this in mind, Pacquiao emphasized the importance of Crawford maintaining both his quickness and agility as he prepares for the biggest challenge of his career.
My advice is make sure that he will focus on speed. That he is to that's the problem when you moving up, your speed and power. So you need to focus it. My advice to him is just focus on speed and the speed and style, and also strength.
Building on that, trainer Robert Garcia sees Canelo Alvarez as the clear favorite heading into the clash, but he's backing Terence Crawford to pull off the upset. Garcia points to Crawford's immense drive, fueled by the historic stakes on the line. A victory would crown Crawford as a 3-division undisputed champion, an achievement that could cement his place among boxing's all-time greats. With so much at stake, Garcia believes fans will see Crawford push himself to new heights in pursuit of glory.
It's not the thing is that it's not a bad bet. Obviously, Canelo's the favorite, everything. But me, I truly believe Crawford's gonna pull it off.
Why?
Because Crawford, this is the fight that makes he becomes the 3-division undisputed. He makes fucking history. He becomes one of the greatest of all times, and he's gonna be ready.
While Robert Garcia also admits he'll be cheering for Canelo Alvarez on fight night, his pick of the matchup comes strictly from a boxing perspective, setting aside personal feelings. Garcia believes that regardless of the outcome, Terence Crawford deserves respect for daring to take on such a monumental challenge. Even if Crawford falls short, the fact that he's willing to test himself against Canelo at this level, in Garcia's eyes, reinforces his status as one of the sport's finest warriors.
And Canelo, he's Mexican. We're all cheering for him. But I'm just talking, you know,
Boxing for you.
boxing, not
So if
hard,
Crawford wins,
not
what
hard.
does that say about Crawford? If he becomes undisputed at
One of the best of
68?
all time, one of the greatest of all time.
And if he loses, he has nothing
If
to
not
lose.
the best of all time.
If he wins.
Yes.
But if he doesn't win, hey,
He challenged himself. He still tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nothing to be ashamed of.
and
I'm going Crawford.
Similarly, from a fight perspective, Simon Jordan sees this as a contest that Terence Crawford is more than capable of winning. Jordan described Crawford as an elite fighter and argued that it's far from unreasonable to back him in this matchup. He pointed out that Canelo Alvarez appears to be a fading force, while Crawford is operating at a unique peak, especially after the dominant fashion in which he dismantled Errol Spence. In Jordan's eyes, Crawford is a rare and exceptional competitor heading into the biggest stage of his career.
But I think it's an intriguing fight. I think, in my mind, I think it's a fight that Crawford can win. I think he's such an elite fighter that I wouldn't feel that it's unreasonable to suggest that. I think Canelo is a declining force, and Crawford is in a unique moment. You know, the manner in which he dealt with Errol Spence was just beyond the pale, because Errol Spence was considered to be an elite fighter, and he was made to look anything but by Terence Crawford. You've always got the weight consideration in this equation, and you would often pick a good big un against a good little un, but Crawford is an exceptional animal. And I just feel that the opportunity and the timing of this fight is about right for Crawford to get the outcome that I would suggest is going to be the case, which is a points win for Crawford.
On the other hand, Sergio Mora offered a critical look at Canelo Alvarez's recent form, pointing to signs of decline following his performance against William Skull. Mora highlighted the wear and tear from Canelo's long career, noting the toll of injuries and the years of battles since turning pro at just 15. While Canelo may be younger in age, Mora stressed that Crawford enters the fight with far fewer miles on the clock, a factor that could play a key role when they meet in the ring.
Hey, listen, man. You know, for a long time I kept saying, you know, a great big man will beat a great small man. That's just how it is in boxing. But after Canelo's last performance, like many people, man, he struggled against a guy in cutting off the ring, a longer guy that wasn't trying to make it a fight. And Canelo has lost a step. Let's keep it real. I mean, he's a man with over 65 fights. He's been fighting professionally since he was 15 years old. There's wear and tear, there's injury. He can turn old overnight. And believe it or not, he's younger than Crawford. But Crawford doesn't have those miles. You know, Crawford's 37 years old. He can turn old overnight. But I still like Crawford, man. He's just a mean dude. He's been bulking up nicely.
In addition, Moore predicted that the showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will go the distance. While he sees Canelo edging out the decision, Moore believes it won't come without a price. He expects Crawford to be firmly in the fight, making Canelo work for every round. In Mora's view, Canelo may emerge with the win on the cards, but he'll leave the ring bruised and battered from a hard, punishing battle.
Doing it the right way, he looks bigger. He looks bigger than Canelo right now as far as like height, the shoulders. I think it's going to be a decision type fight. I think Crawford's in this fight, and I don't think Canelo leaves unscathed. I think he'll leave a little bruised and beat up, but he'll still win the decision.
Building on that, Ryan Garcia expressed his excitement for the upcoming clash, confident that Canelo Alvarez's size advantage will ultimately be too much for Terence Crawford to overcome. Garcia sees Canelo's physicality as a decisive factor that could make the difference on fight night.
What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's going to be a great fight, too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason.
Furthermore, Bob Arum offered a blunt assessment of Canelo Alvarez's current mindset ahead of the clash. The veteran promoter suggested that Canelo's priorities have shifted, with the Mexican star now appearing more focused on securing huge paydays than delivering the kind of electrifying performances that once defined his career.
Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. But again, if Canelo really fights, because I think it's safe to say Terence always fights. He doesn't know anything else. So then it could be a very good, interesting fight.
Moreover, Terence Crawford opened up about the motivations driving him as he takes on this monumental challenge, despite already having achieved so much in the sport. For Crawford, it's about testing himself against the very best of his era. In his view, Canelo Alvarez stands as the most accomplished fighter of their generation, and this bout represents the chance to prove himself on the grandest stage yet.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter in today's sports of boxing, other than myself. And I would just like to, fight another great. That's it. I think it'll be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing today.
Backing this sense of a true high-stakes clash, Alexander Usyk weighed in, calling it a genuine 50-50 fight and admitting it's tough to pick a winner. Despite the even nature of the matchup, Usyk made clear that, in his eyes, Crawford holds the top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings heading into this showdown.
Finally, Canelo Crawford.
Very hard. 50-50. For me, pound for pound, number one is Terence Crawford.
Similarly, former heavyweight boxer Shannon Briggs made no secret of his support for Crawford, revealing he's even putting money on a stoppage victory for the smaller man. While Briggs admitted his predictions don't always hit the mark, he remains firmly in Crawford's corner for this bout.
Crawford all day. Crawford all day. He might stop him. I'm gonna bet, and I don't even bet. My son be doing all the betting. I don't do too much betting, but I'm gonna tell you, Crawford gonna stop him. Stoppage. I'm telling you, stoppage. I'm telling you, I'm sticking with that. He gonna stop him. Knockout. You gonna say, oh man, come on. And I know why. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, Crawford, man. I'm telling you. I'm really wrong on this boxing shit, y'all. I'm keeping it real with y'all. I'm really wrong.
Echoing that confidence, Crawford's trainer, Bomac, shared his belief in his fighter's ability to rise to the occasion. He highlighted Crawford's knack for making top-level opponents look ordinary and sees this fight as the moment to showcase Crawford's greatness to the world.
Obviously, he's doing a great job because he's making everybody look normal. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, hey, why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best? So let's go test ourselves.
Finally, offering a more neutral stance, Frank Smith shared his admiration for both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, noting that he's had the chance to spend time with each and sees them as truly special fighters. While he acknowledged that Canelo should be seen as the favorite, he also praised Crawford as a spectacular talent.
I like them both. I've spent a bit of time with Crawford recently as well, and look, he's a special. They're both excellent fighters, and I think sometimes you can look at, people will look at Canelo in that last fight and go, whoa, didn't look great, and then take a view from it. You're always judged on that last fight, and your career of what he's done is then forgotten about because everyone goes, oh, that last fight wasn't a great performance. I don't know. I think Canelo has got to be favourite, but Crawford's a spectacular fighter.
In Smith's view, this is a genuine 50-50 clash, the kind of matchup that excites fans because it brings together two of the best fighters in the world. Without picking a side, Smith is simply hoping to witness another memorable battle that delivers top-level entertainment.
And also, it is probably a 50-50, and it should be a 50-50, hence why it's the kind of fight it is, because you've got two of the active best fighters in the world coming together. The weight has been spoken about in the past. I think, though, they're probably not much different in size,
No,
stature.
Crawford's big, when you look at him, big dude.
Yes. So, it's a great fight. And I'm not the tactician, as I've always said, so I'm just looking forward to another great fight of entertainment.
One thing's certain, when Canelo and Crawford step into the ring, history will be made and the world will be watching. No matter the outcome, this is a fight that will echo through the ages. Drop your predictions in the comments. Who do you think takes the crown? If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more hard-hitting boxing coverage.